Hi, this is Robbie from Southern California, and today I'm going to sit out in my garden and I'm going to go over some of the questions because it's, in the last vlog I did on where to vlog because of all the noise, and that's why I'm in my garden today. I still like my chair garden, but I'm going to sit in here and enjoy the birds because as you can see, they're coming in to eat. That's why I can't yell or talk too loud. And I've got my camera on a tripod. And then I still have one with me so I can zoom in with this camera and get some, close up shots of some of the birds that are coming in because they're just unreal all day. This goes on from early morning until even as it's getting dark. All these different birds come in. So I just wanted to touch on some of the questions that people have come in to do, to respond to the last one. And what I'm going to do is pick topics and just kind of sit outside, find different places to sit and talk about the topics. And then as we get past the holidays and into gardening, get back into putting 3 and 4 videos up a week of actual videos of gardening. But a lot of you aren't gardening, you're just thinking about it. Lisa came in and talked about her totes, and this is common, that she's got problems with gnats and mold. And if you're not growing in them right now, the food is going to mold. That is all part of everything breaking down. That's not an issue. But if it's too wet, you won't have all the microbes and all that is supposed to be in there if it's too wet. Because it's not underwater creatures that are eating this stuff. They're oxygen needing creatures, including your worms, your earthworms. So if you can get some earthworms in there and throw some soil on top of what you're composting. Make sure you got soil. If it's not potting soil, use native soil. Go outside and dig up some dirt and throw it on top. You don't want to leave it open if you've got the issue of insects and mold. Now, as far as the mold, that's no big deal because once you get potting soil and everything going, everything's going to work right and everything is going to break down the way it's supposed to. And the mold is actually part of it, like fungi, like mushrooms that come up in your plants. That is all breaking down matter and turning it into compost. But it sounds to me like it's too wet. So make sure, like Rebecca came in and told you, make sure you've got good drainage because it's got to drain. Otherwise you end up with a swamp. And a swamp you're not going to be able to grow in. If it is too wet, then throw some dry matter in there, be it leaves and be it some soil. If you're growing in it right now, then make sure you get some cheap potting soil and put that on top. If you're not growing in it right now and you're waiting for spring and you're saving it, just throw any soil in and keep it a little drier if possible. And the way you can keep it drier is make sure you have good drainage and that you have soil covering the top if you've got the issues. I mean, I don't even worry about it. In the winter, like now, I'll start throwing all kinds of food matter in extra totes. And then what I do is put even a lid sometimes on top, a tote lid. I do have to make sure it drains. You want drainage holes. And don't worry about the mold. It's all going to break down. But you may want to cover it. Again, I don't know if you're growing in it. If you're growing in it, then of course you can't cover it. But if you're not growing in it, throw some soil on top. Make sure you have drainage, good drainage holes. And if you're not growing in it, put a lid on top. And yeah, the hammering, Debbie says, louder than me. And not too many things are louder than me. As far as setting up the chairs, yes, I can move the chairs and I could grow things that are more into shade. But now that we're getting into the cooler weather, most of your vegetable plants really do like the sun. So even lettuce, they really like the sun when it's in this fall, late fall and into winter because it's not hot. So they enjoy the sun. The tomatoes will grow, but they're going to slow down. A lot of plants, if they don't have enough sun, will slow down. The squash, plants like that will just die out. So I'm not going to move it right now. I'll see what I want to grow in there. If anything, I might just dig the whole thing up and get ready for spring and not worry about it. Just let it do its thing and then start to refurbish them. And refurbishing would be, well, they're all draining really good. Probably just adding on the top and getting ready, but not right now. We still have time. And Bobby, I read all that, what you wrote here. It was really, really long, so I'm not going to read it now about what your neighbor's doing. I feel for you. I don't know what you can do, but I do hope that those trees that they planted will cover up, and maybe you can get some more trees, and maybe you can put up a screen. Or I know you really can't talk, usually you can't talk to people like that because they feel it's their place and they're going to do what they want. I don't know. I'm not like that. I worry about people around me and what they think. All you could do is maybe garden and try to ignore them, because hopefully they're not there 24 hours a day, but when they're there, they're there. And big crowds, just stay away. Do your own thing, garden, and, well, thank goodness you're in the cooler weather right now, so you'll be spending more time in the house. And maybe when it gets warmer, they'll find something else to do. It's pretty bad. And I think a lot of people that are stuck in and not doing things are doing that too. They're doing that where my daughter lives. She said there's huge parties. They're not supposed to be having parties. And it's amazing how many people are going in and out. Nobody cares. Of different homes around her. And as far as the hummingbirds not happy about the noise, birds are very adaptable. All animals are really adaptable. So the noise doesn't bother them. They're flying around, they're eating. As long as they have food, water, shelter, they're fine. They'll get used to things. Birds and animals are very adaptable. I don't worry about them. And they are really working on that house now. So I'm guessing that once they have the outside of the house done, once they're inside, I won't hear them anyways. Right now, they're putting on the 2 floors. They're, the stories, and they're getting the walls up. But once the walls are up, then they're going to have to start working on the inside. And that I shouldn't hear. A lot of these new houses are so soundproof that they can't hear anything going on outside. So I most certainly won't be able to hear them when they're working on the inside. Angela came in and said that she had a leek that she had used. And I guess she cut the greens off. And now it shot up some seeds. And I guess what you're saying is some of the seeds look like they were little leeks? Like they were plants? I don't know, but if that's what they look like, you'll have to plant them right away. Leeks usually throw seeds only. I had an onion that actually grew, the stem came up, and on the top it had the ball that developed with the bees and everything coming in and pollinating the black seeds. But what it also developed was not the seeds. It actually developed little round onions. It was a white onion. And I have never seen that before. It was kind of like the walking onion, but the walking onions don't have seeds. And this was little onions. So if you get onions, you definitely have to get those in the ground, because once they dry up, they don't store. Seeds store, but any live plant, it's like you can't pull a plant out, dry it, put it away, and then try to grow it later. Usually it doesn't work. There's a couple plants you can. Believe it or not, there are some, but not with vegetable plants. And one day, I'll talk more about the dogs. Not sure if you want to hear about the healers, Gary's healers, or the Yorkies, but Gary's got his healers that work with him all day around the property. And he had one that we got when we first got married. And he lived for almost 20 years. That was amazing. So Gary's got his healers, and I have my Yorkies. And Kitty, she was pipette fed because she couldn't nurse. No, she didn't have cleft palate. She just couldn't nurse. And that's why she has a tail, because it was thought that she may not make it. And having to force feed her, there was thought that she wouldn't make it. But the vet determined that her mouth was misshapen, where she could not nurse. But she made it, obviously, and she's doing fine. She's a few years old already. As far as growing a vertical garden against the wall, I am right now. I've got Malabar spinach growing up. I've got cucumber growing up the wall. Especially now as the weather's cooling, I can grow on the wall because the wall won't get really hot. It's just going to stay warm. So yes, I can grow on the wall. I did it all summer, but it was very warm. But it's going to be better to do it in the fall and into winter. So yes, I can grow vertical on a wall. My daughter doesn't want to vlog. So Pamela, that's out of luck. I asked her. She's not into this. She's busy, and she's dealing with homeschooling right now with 3 kids. Well, I shouldn't say 3, 2. When the other one is in college, homeschooling. So they're really, really busy. As far as pomegranates, Victoria, yes, you can plant them in plastic bins. Basically, you would plant a pomegranate tree like you would a citrus tree. You can put it in flower pots, And if you're in an area where it gets really, really cold in the winter, you will have to probably put them in a greenhouse and then in the spring bring them out. And they go dormant. So they'll go dormant for you and it won't even hurt them. They may be able to stay outside as long as they don't freeze. But if you've got a greenhouse, put them in a big flower pot and then drag them in and out. You should be able to get fruit, I would think, in the summer. Get them out as early as possible if you're keeping plants in a greenhouse. Remember that. That's important. I'll talk about that one day soon. And Pamela, I'm planning on getting to the shoe planter real soon. I love my shoe planter. And I'm working on how to get that video together. And once I have the video together, I should have it up really, really soon. And we do have aloe vera. It's in my last garden tour. You'll see it. Gary had to move some of it because of the gophers. So we can talk about that more, or Gary can talk about it more one day. And no, Irish, I'm not worried about the construction work. It'll be done soon. Like I said, once they go inside, then I won't be able to hear it anyways. Now, Violet, you're asking me about growing in 8B. See, I'm not familiar with that because I grow in 10B. So you're cooler than me, I'm thinking, and probably hotter in the summer or more humid. You'll have to figure out, and it will be trial and error on what works for you. So I'm not sure what will grow in your area. I'm sure you can still grow pretty much anything that I'm growing, but your season will be different than mine. That's the main thing on that. So make sure everything's got, really good drainage for the summer in case you're damper or more humid. You should be good to go. And ask around and check and see what other people in your area are growing, or even a nursery. Later on in the spring you can find out. But you should be able to grow tomatoes and peppers and all that too, and herbs. And yeah, Jackie, what I'm doing is thinking that, being that most of us are now thinking about the holiday season and other stuff going on, that I can vlog a little bit more, but still get my videos together. And I actually found some I never put up. Maybe I'll put them up. I was working in my chair garden and let the camera run. I thought, I'm going to bore people to death with that. So I've got that. So I may put some of those up. Yeah, I'll get that together and do this until we really get into the gardening season. But we're still going to be doing gardening, and then we're still going to be doing projects. And I've got all kinds of craft things I'm working on for the hummingbirds and different things. So I've got a lot of stuff going on. Hummingbirds are important to me because they're pollinators. Kenneth, you with your tool and your squirrels. You've got me thinking of what's going on with your squirrels. Because squirrels, though they're smart creatures, they shouldn't be that smart. So I'm going to do a whole vlog on Tool, because Tool is so important to me and important for a lot of people, because without Tool wrapping a lot of fruit, we wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have 3/4 of what I have if it wasn't for Tool. I would even be losing a lot of my green plants if it wasn't for Tool. And some of my dazzling blue kale I had to cover. I love Tool, and it works for birds as well as squirrels. So I'm going to get into that separate. You'll be hearing from me very soon, because Tool is very important to me. It's something that I think a lot of us need to keep on hand just in case we need a little bit. And it's so cheap. A whole bolt, $10. We'll get into that another time. And I think DH123, that's a good idea to maybe get into different plants or vegetable plants and talk about one and ideas, because I want to talk about ginger more, even though I've done videos on ginger. I'd like to sit down and just talk about ideas and thoughts and things that maybe I should have done, didn't do, and it works out better in a vlog than trying to put a video together and making sure everything is perfect and trying to keep people from being bored. When you vlog, you don't worry about that much, kind of giving your thoughts. So yeah, that's very, very good. Maybe one vegetable a week or a month or something. Right now, this is easier to do because a lot of us are not gardening, but this might keep the interest up, because we want to keep the interest up. So when spring comes, we're ready to get into it right away. So the more we get growing, the better. And you never know what's going to grow, so you want to get a bunch of stuff growing. So that's a great idea. Oh, Debbie, we're all going through this, aren't we? And I really appreciate that this is helping you during these tough times, because, there is no comment on this, because this, how can I say, oh, we're all going to get through? We're going to get through it, but the point is, we're dealing with something, all of us, that we've never, ever had to deal with, let alone even who would have thought about it. I only wish that I would have talked to my grandparents, who are both gone, who would have lived during the first time this happened, even though it would be much different, because now we have the internet, we can communicate differently. But an idea of how everybody dealt with it, this is just, it is unreal. And thank goodness we have YouTube, that we can step away and look at things and, and watch things that maybe get our mind off of things and get into the garden and grow things. And of course, this time of the year, a lot of us are not growing. Our gardens grow all year round. It's just that we grow different things. I can't grow a lot of the stuff I want to grow now. I've got zucchini growing only because the plants are already growing. I have new zucchini plants coming up, but they're not growing as vigorously. Now we can do vlogging, we could watch videos, we can watch old videos. And I agree with you, thank you. It is really something that we have this, and we do have to keep our minds working on something positive. And that's all we can do right now. And Victoria, you live in New York City. Oh yeah, so you're not really doing much gardening either right now. So I'll share my garden and my thoughts, and as soon as you can, you'll be gardening again. You believe me, it's going to be here before we know it. Look how quick or slow. It's really an odd year. Sometimes it seems like it went by really fast. Sometimes it seems like it went by really slow. There's days I don't even know what day it is. It's kind of it's a whole different way of living, isn't it? And as far as, seeds that came from China, a lot of people have mentioned that. The best thing to do is, if you didn't order it, and I think a lot of us did not order seeds from China, get rid of it, pack it up really good, burn it, turn it into the government. Whatever you do, don't let it get out into the soil to grow. And if you want, you can turn it in the USDA. That would be the proper thing to do, because we don't know anything about it. And even if they were harmless to the point where you can grow them, some of them were, I want to say, toxic to the point that you would not have known you were growing, let's say, something like poison ivy. You'd be growing it, handling it, and ending up with a rash. Some of them were a plant like that, and some of them were vegetable plants, but they did not DNA check them, so they don't know if there was anything else with them. If there probably wasn't, it's just not worth it. Buy the seeds you want to grow that are going to grow in your area, and if you want to try some that normally don't grow, but you're going to try it anyways, at least buy what you know you're dealing with. And if you are going to try something that you know is not supposed to grow in your area, but you want to set up a microclimate, that's when you want to get more things going than just that. Get multiple types of plants, because you never know what's going to grow really, really good. I have a problem right now with thyme. I don't know why. My thyme doesn't grow really good. Maybe I don't have enough time to grow thyme. Haha. No, I've got, like on my sage, I've got sage all over the place. I got basil I can grow. Of course, my green basil is going to die back because it doesn't grow in the late fall and in winter. But thyme, it just stays so small. No matter, I've tried it different places, so I'm going to have to analyze it. And that's what I'm saying. You want to grow multiple plants, which keeps your interest going. Get plants that grow fast, not just plants that grow slow. So your interest is there when the gardening season starts. So you're not just standing around staring at a pot waiting for something to grow. You want to make sure you have things going on and then working with other things. We'll talk about more of that later. And we'll get into cooking and different things. I know a lot of you have asked me about cooking. I'm trying to figure out how to set it up. And I'm not a chef. I'm a cook. So I cook all the time and I never know what I'm going to put together. I walk into the house, look and see what I've got, what I feel like, what I can pull in from the garden, and bam, I just put dinner together. And then I do cook differently in the winter than I do in the summer. Because in the winter, I'm spending more time in the kitchen, maybe because it's warm. And then in the summer, it's quicker meals to get out and get things done. We'll get that together too. And I think I've covered a lot of different things. I think this is really good Do not worry, I am not changing my routine. There's going to be all the different videos. I'm actually thinking to add in a vlog, make it very clear that it is a vlog. So if anybody's not interested in that, they only want to see videos that are step-by-step DIY videos, you know, what you're doing, you'll see that that's a video. When it's a vlog, you'll know it's a vlog. You'll know it's just me sitting down somewhere like here in the garden with the birds today and expressing my thoughts on how things work for me. And do keep in mind that anything that I do is strictly my opinion, is strictly what works for me. And I want you to take whatever I do and don't do what I do unless it's going to work for you. Do it in a fashion that's going to work for you. But we have a lot we're going to talk about once we get through the holiday season, once we get into the beginning of the year and the weather hopefully starts to warm up. Even before, we'll get seeds going, we'll think about seeds, and we'll be ready. So when it is time to plant and it's here, we'll be ready to go outside. And don't throw those leaves away, because those leaves will save you money when you go to plant, be it in a container, be it in a raised bed. It doesn't matter, even in the ground. Leaves and plant matter of any type turns into plant food, compost, and that saves you money. So I think I've gone through a lot today, and we'll go over more. I'll find different places to vlog. I like my garden because of the birds, but I also don't like disturbing them because they have a routine too, and they want to come in, pick through their seeds and stuff, look for insects, take a bath, and then leave. Thanksgiving's going to be here soon too, and this is going to be the first Thanksgiving that I can think of that it's just going to be Gary and I. Nobody's getting together. I've gotten together with friends in the past. Over the years, though, most of them have been me making the dinner here with friends and family, so it's going to be different. I hope you all have someplace to go, or, you know, somebody with you, even if it's a furry friend, somebody to sit down and just be thankful for what we've got. And that's basically it for today. So with that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy the birds. I hope you did enjoy the birds, because I most certainly have enjoyed the birds. I enjoy them every day. Have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.